Yeah, and speaking of which, I really like the commitment that we got last night that you guys broke down. The reality is, and Danny Money and you talk about it all the time, the most valuable commodity and the scarcest commodity in the transfer portal is big bodies now, right? It's not actually quarterbacks, it's big
Yeah.
bodies. So you
Yeah,
got
it's
to
big
start to
bodies and they're
develop them.
expensive, man. So
Yeah.
it's like you're either gonna get a guy like this who we call it more of a late bloomer situation as opposed to, hey, this guy, because he was committed to FAU, 6'4", 290, 285, 290 range, Steve. And this is a guy that Florida State wanted badly. Like Florida State, Miami did their best to fend off Florida State. He was supposed to visit there last weekend, but Miami got him to switch that visit to go see Miami again. And yeah, these guys, once they hit the portal, if he were to start his career at an FAU, and then if he were to blossom at an FAU, and then he hits the portal, he's a $1 million close to a type guy. If he's that good, if not, it's still fine. That's still 600 plus thousand a year sort of player. So if you get them out of high school and grow them here, develop them here, you can manage it a little bit more.
Petey, when you talk about the word project, and I get it, and everyone wants a high-end 5-star. I think Miami's still battling. We don't know how that's going to go with the kids. I think everyone knows who I'm talking about. But the reality is, if you're going to take a project, they better have the physical traits. And look, this program for years took the projects that were, instead of being 6'4", 6'5", 290, we took a lot of 6'2" guys that were 265 with short arms. I get it, but it's a little bit different. You got to have certain physical traits. I was thinking about this last night because I know there was a debate on the CanesInSight recruiting board. Certain people really liked this pickup. Other people really didn't. We'll see who's right in about 3 to 5 years. But if you look at the Mount Rushmore of Miami defensive tackles, and I'm going to do a full article on this one day because I was debating this with some people last weekend in Miami. So the Mount Rushmore of Miami defensive tackles, in my view, is no particular order: Jerome Brown, Russell Maryland, Warren Sapp, and Cortez Kennedy. Now, this is not a Ed Reed was a 2-star statement. Okay, I want to get that off the bat. Not making any projections for Sainteus. I'm just giving a fact. Jerome Brown out of, I think, Brooksville was probably a highly rated guy, but I don't remember what the perception was on him. I'd have to look that up. But Russell Maryland was basically a back end of the class guy from Chicago, from Whitney Young High School in Chi-Town. I think it was Hubbard Alexander, our old wide receiver coach, that told Jimmy, hey, this guy's pretty big. Maybe he can lose weight. But he was not considered a 5-star. Cortez Kennedy was a JC guy, big guy. I think he went to JC in Mississippi, originally from Arkansas. Petey, I can tell you this, and I've watched every game. He made the greatest jump of any Hurricane player I've ever seen, from 88, where he was just this big guy who couldn't move, to the 3rd pick in the draft and an NFL Hall of Famer. Never seen a guy make this many strides. It was unbelievable. He was a completely different player. And then Warren Sapp was originally a tight end from Apopka. So yeah, that's a position that can go either way, but development is key. And if he's on that Moten arc, who's having a very good year, I think we would take that as the baseline floor every single year.
And I think he might have a bigger frame than Moten too. So yeah. I think this is a guy that they love the upward trajectory on. He's really, newer to the game of football, came over from Haiti early in his high school career. And everything you hear about him is an awesome kid, great family. And he's someone who has put on probably about 40, 50 pounds in the last year or so, probably a little bit less than a year. So yeah, I think that that's such a high upside pickup. You're probably, from what I understand, going to have a little bit more shuffling that happens there on the defensive line in terms of recruiting. You're going after some 5-stars there, as you alluded to, James Johnson, Tank Jones as well. I think Tank Jones, Miami's working very hard for that one. Jason Taylor will be in Mobile this weekend to go see him. And look, I think you're going to try to add maybe another edge guy or two here as well. So they're after a number of big time talents there, but this is a nice foundational piece to the class, Steve, for sure.
Yeah, Petey, when I saw Tank Jones at the Licking when I was with you guys on Saturday, Wow, that's a guy you're just. Sheesh, that's a specimen.
275 pounds. You saw him, Steve, and I talked about it,
Hey,
like how he carries the weight is he's going to be at 300 pounds in no time.
right, and one of the mantras that Mario Cristobal had that he talked a lot about when he got the job about what he wanted to change at Miami. He kept saying, "Hey guys, I know what it looks like." And one of the things that he meant was, I know what a facility should look like, I know what a football building should look like, and I know what the players should look like. And I would say for the last 20 years before Mario, or before the Butch Davis players exited the program, so that's 2004 to about 2005 or six, all the way to the time that we hired Mario, we probably have one or two, maybe three guys in every room that look the part. One thing Mario's going to do is he's going to have us looking great coming off that bus. That's not even a question.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. Milan asking about Sainteus. Do I think he could play off of the tackle? No, I think Mario and I think they want, these longer. I mean, Sainteus is long for a D tackle, but I think they want he'd probably be a little bit taller and he does play some offensive line from what I understand, but they recruit at such a high level at O-line that to me, you keep him on the defense side of the ball. You see that aggressive nature. But
Well,
let me
that's the
see
one
here.
thing about
Kyle asking,
Yeah,
sorry to cut you off.
yeah.
Kyle asking if Tank Jones is a DT prospect. To me, I see him having inside outside versatility.
Yeah.
But again, Steve, don't take it from me, guys. This kid weighed in at 275. He's not going to be dropping weight. I mean, they'll probably maybe like an Armando Blunt, but he's probably he's already pretty close to a Blunt size, if not bigger right now.
The thing was, he didn't look overly heavy.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
But I
the
heard he
thing.
literally stepped on the scale this weekend and weighed 275. So this is like as verified as it gets.
I mean, because Brian McKinney was waiting to come on. And so they're both kind of by each other, like, man, like those were absolute units, as they say. But if you look at a guy like Saint, he's going to be a guy that is he going to play in his first, second year? Probably not. But you look at a guy like Moten. Moten really didn't get snaps till about his third, fourth year.
I could see him playing by year 2, Steve. You give him a full year of development. Why not? I mean, I think there's going to be an opportunity
Well, that's
there
the thing
for him.
about blowing teams out. That's the value of blowing teams out. It allows you to get a look. I know not everyone agrees with me. I believe we should play a Bethune-Cookman game every single year. I actually want to see these games because it gives me a chance to look at the development of young players. Howard Schnellenberger used to make sure he scheduled at least 2 or 3 games of that ilk every single season.
Well, this is why it's important too, Steve, and this is the business side of it, right? Like, what starts to happen now in the middle of the year? Renegotiations
Yeah.
for NIL deals, the restructuring of what it's going to start looking like next year. I'm not saying deals are getting done right now. It's still very early in the season. But a guy like Gerard Pringle, just from seeing him that game and seeing him then at USF, which he got more reps there at USF because of what he did against Bethune, he's a player. How many more reps he's going to be able to get in big moments this year? Hopefully he does, because I think he should be in the mix with the burst that he brings. But like, that's a guy that you say, we got something there. Like, we saw it in live game action with him. And now you can kind of gauge it on, hey, there's this kid in high school who is going to cost XYZ amount of money. We have this guy on the roster. We know what this guy on the roster is. What's the cost efficiency for us there?
It's a business. This is now pro football. We have to admit that. But in terms of Pringle, let me go back to the Lamar Miller story. We redshirted Lamar Miller, and my buddy who really knows, he said, Steve, what are you doing? And I said, well, I'm not going to play. I said, Steve, if he's a running back and you think he's good, he ain't staying 4 years, Steve. With Lamar Miller, we got 2 years. If Jared Pringle can play any role, even mop-up duty in blowouts where you get him carries and you save the likes of Marty Marr and Mark Fletcher and even Jordan Lyle, I let him be that fourth back. Again, if Pringle is the guy that we think and hope he is, Peter, he's not staying his 4th year.
Yeah,
Not with the way the collective
that's
bargaining
what I
agreement is, you know?
and he's he's not going to stay his 4th year or like because he's that good, or he'll transfer. It's
Right.
it's very rare you see the Chase Smith situations where a guy was banged up. He's a legacy kid, character wise, really wanted to be here at Miami and is now contributing and hopefully gets an opportunity now at the next level because he's got the size and the athletic ability. If he stays healthy, can be a guy who makes an impact on special teams. Like, you're going to see less of those stories, unfortunately, Steve.
Yeah.
But that's why these things are important, because it's a 1-year clock these days, man. Like, I'm not saying you have to be dominating or flashing. Let's not even say dominant. You don't have to be flashing the way Pringle did, scoring touchdowns. But like, if you get an opportunity in a game or maybe you don't even get an opportunity because they don't trust you yet, then there's the writing is on the wall for some guys, I would say.
Well, to whom much is given, something is expected. And the days of just being a program guy that is okay with being on the scout team for 3 to 4 years and getting certain type of roles by your 4th or 5th year, that NIL changes a lot. It really does. And Coach JB talks about this a lot. Is like back then when it was only scholarships, you could earn your scholarship that way. But if you, like you said, Petey, if you have a price tag attached, and let's say you're one of the high-end recruits, which means you're getting a legitimate 6-figure deal right then and there, unless it's a multi-year agreement, you're right, Peter. You are on the clock almost immediately. I don't think people think about that enough in this whole dynamic.
No doubt. And Steve, I know you got to get out of here in a few.
A few minutes.
Any last thoughts on these last 4 games and now looking ahead, man? We can, like I said, it has not been a perfect 4 games, but you have survived and you are a top 5 team.
Look, one thing I'm very happy for Mario Cristobal is that he has a vision. Okay, and I think it has to work with Mario, because if it doesn't work with Cristobal, I think we're all going to lose faith. And I know how much this job means to him. I know the passion. I could just feel it. I want this to work for him as much as any coach, because he's the one guy who looks at Miami as a destination job. There's no other place he'd rather be. So we have to make it work with him. Also, the 2 weeks that we were under pressure to really come out and not lay an egg because of the recruiting dynamic, and you know this, Peter, you cover it much more closely than I do. Notre Dame and Florida, we brought in a lot of recruits, right? We wanted to give them a good look at Miami. We had game day on. We hit home runs. We hit home runs. We can complain about the scores, how close, it doesn't matter. I think recruits are now figuring out nationally Miami is now back to being a serious football program. So I think that has been a great development and storyline. We're only 1/3 of the way through. Also, a couple things as a fan, because I still sit in the regular seats. I like to breathe the fresh air. Love the towels. The next ones need to be green or orange. Just saying. Just a little suggestion box note I'm going to drop. Also, I hate to bring this up. The DJ. The DJ is so close. He's close to just...
So listen, Steve, we received some info, and I'm waiting for D to get back in town so we could do a full show on it. But we received some info. The DJ, I think we need to lay off him a little bit. I don't know that he's making. I think that he did what he could last weekend to get it closer to what people want it to be. I think we got to be very cognizant of the fact that some decisions are out of the man who's pressing the buttons. Unfortunately,
nothing against him. He's doing a fine job, but little suggestions. Again, we're in Miami, so let's kind of like understand the atmosphere. Wouldn't mind a little Stevie B, That'd be good. Personal favorite, you do this, I'll get off your back. Rock Me Amadeus by Falco. I like the song. It's catchy. Also, DMX. Got to get some DMX in there. The crowd gets hyped. But other than that, I get it, man. I get it. I don't want to be too critical.
Listen, I think that he's heard the noise, and he's trying to do what he can in his power to make the change. So listen, everyone is getting closer to where it needs to be around this program right now, Steve. It's the team is they're not quite there yet. They're fine tuning. The DJ is getting closer as well. We're all a part of this thing, man. We're all slowly working towards getting this thing where it needs to be, as Mario would say.
Yeah, and fans out there in South Florida, I know it's easy for me to say, but I'm 3,000 miles away. I'm coming in for Louisville. We just made my plans for Dallas. This has been a pet peeve of mine, and I get it. People have other things to do. I've never seen a fan base on Twitter the week of a game say, "Hey guys, I can't go to this game, so I have 8 tickets." I'm like, wait a minute. Hey folks, this is not the Marlins. You don't get 81 games. We get 7 to 8 games a year. You buy season tickets. Is it too much to ask to go to games where it's not Florida State, Florida, or Notre Dame? Just again, a small critique. Small critique. That's all. We just show
Steve,
up.
listen, as someone who you make the cross country trip, so you can voice these concerns to the locals.
No, but look, Peter, if I was living in the 305 or the 954, I can honestly tell you, and this is the one thing about someone that tries to cover all of college football. It's part of my job now. You do miss every other game. I get it. And you have to catch up. And sometimes the reception's not good on your cell phone. But my God, we only have 6 to 8 of these a year. I would actually go to every game if I lived out there. But again, easy for me to say. I get it. I'm just a crouching tiger 3,000 miles away. That's it. Just saying.
Steve, let everyone know where they can find your work.
Yeah, I'm on Twitter, and I X way too much at Steve Kim 323. I do the 3 knockdown rule with Mario Lopez. Yes, that one. We talk about boxing. I actually mentioned the Miami game and how we needed a retractable roof at Hard Rock at the end of the show this
There
week.
we go.
I'll be on with Coach Jason Brown, Coach JB show Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'll be on there in about 5 minutes. And I'm on Fearless with Jason Whitlock several times a week. And I write a twice weekly boxing column on snack.com, SNAC.com, run by Victor Conte. Yes, that one. Also, what else do I do?
We need Victor Conte to get down here on the bye week and take a look at some of these injuries, Steve.
Yeah. He'll do a good job. Trust me. Also, I am on Instagram at Steve Orale Kim, an O to East LA. So it's Steve ORALEKIM. And it's the picture, my avatar is the one where I'm leaning against the U. And by the way, Peter, you took that picture.
Wow. There you go. The best recall in the business, Steve Kim. Thank you so much, as always, for joining us. And thank you again to Jensen Sunset Corners for making this segment happen. Wear that orange and green.
10% off non-sale items. And again, 8701 72nd Street, Miami, Florida.
All right, Steve. Appreciate your time, man. We'll see you next week. Awesome stuff there. As always, from Canine Cane, Steve Kim, as always, he's on not only here on Thursdays, but the CanesInSight message boards, CanesInSight.com, as Canine Cane, always giving you guys his perspective there in written form. Tomorrow, what am I going to be doing? D-Money, he's in Greece. Whatever, Greece, schmeece. I get to be at Duffy's Tavern, the legendary Duffy's Tavern, as I'm there every Friday, open for business, man. This is where, as you guys see here, where the elite meet to eat there in West Miami, there right outside of the Gables, home of the Hurricanes. Best burgers, wings, cold beer, and stay tuned. We're going to be doing something there, I believe, coming up here for the Florida State game. So Duffy's Tavern, I will be out there tomorrow. And you guys know this is the classic. You guys want to have your Dolphins watch parties there, big groups as well. So corporate events, birthdays, whatever you guys want at Duffy's Tavern, the original. So this is not. Don't worry about those other ones. You got to say Duffy's Tavern when you look it up in the GPS. And one of our other great sponsors here, real quick, want to talk about them. OrchidMan Florida. Landscape artisans here in South Florida, very passionate about their landscaping. Contact them at 786-271-0332. And guys, they do it all: sprinkler repair, manicured maintenance, irrigation system, tree trimming, rain gutters, tree removal, relocation, tree stump grinding. OrchidManFlorida.com, not Orkin, ORCHIDMAN IDman, OrchidManFlorida.com. And I'm not done for the day. So we just did this show with Steve here, going to be doing another show this afternoon from Lomelo's Meat Market. They're right past Dayland 9810 South Dixie Highway on US 1. Lomelo's Meat Market, promo code CIS10, nationwide shipping on Wagyu meat, prime meat, skirt steaks, burgers, Denver, tomahawk, ribeye, New York strip, everything you guys are looking for there at Lomelo's Meat Market. Check out lomelos.com for your nationwide shipping, or in person as well. I'm going to be doing a show live from there this afternoon. We'll talk more about Frederic Sainteus and his commitment and what else is to come on the recruiting trail. So hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Appreciate everyone for tuning in today. Go Canes.